what does it mean to add? What does it mean to add? I know that we've talked about this specific question before, but I want to make sure we fully understand what is happening when you are adding. What does it mean to add? All right, what does it mean to add? When you see words or the addition symbol that tell you you're going to be adding, what does that really mean? Victor, what does that really mean? So that might be what the addition symbol is, but like, what does that mean?
Like, if you get like little numbers, like 3.
Yep.
You get 8 as the next number.
Yep.
Okay, 3 plus 8, and then you put a equal sign. Now you equal 11.
Okay. Can you tell me how you figured that out?
Because 3 and 8 add up, and you get 11.
Okay. Awesome. If I drew a picture of what Victor just said, I then get a bigger group of what just happened. I have my 3 plus my 8, and then I join them together. So when I'm adding, I am joining, or I might use a word like combining two piles of things together. You could join as many piles. How about I write 2 plus piles? Because Gwen, you're right. I could have 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. I can join all of those together to be adding. Michael? What does it mean?
It means like you're gonna take like not just 2 numbers, but you can take like basically like 2 plus numbers and then add them up to get the total.
Yep. We're gonna add them or join them together. Ashla, what are you thinking?
Like you're combining them together.
Yeah. Yep. We're getting one big number. We're gonna add on to get one big number or total. What does adding look like in number land? If I'm adding something in the world of numbers, like on a number line, what is that gonna look like? Brayden, what might that look like?
So you're jumping forward instead of backwards or everywhere else?
Yeah, so if I have that same example that Victor gave us and I start at 3, I might go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1 jump, 2 jump, 3 jump, 4 jump, 5 jump, 6 jump, 7 jump, 8 jump. I started at one of my parts, I jumped forward my next part, and I ended up at my 11. Now Brayden said something interesting. He said I'm only going to jump forward. Is that true?
No,
it's
backwards. No?
For addition,
You only go forward.
I'm only going to be jumping forward because remember, I'm trying to figure out what my total is. I've always got to move forward for my total. Yes?
The reason why you can't move backwards for addition is because you can't do subtract to add.
Exactly.
You have to put it in for subtraction. You can do add to subtract with forward.
What are some of the strategies that we've learned to add? Go ahead and write this as a subtitle because we're going to make a list. What strategies do we know for adding? Go ahead and make that a subtitle because we're going to list all the strategies we know. All right, what are some strategies we have learned for addition? If you don't remember, we have a whole notebook full of our work. We wrote that down for times just like this when we need to go back and remember the things that we have done, please don't do that. I gave you a new notebook that has pages in it, so please don't tear them out. Elena? Rounding, is that going to help us add? Okay, I want strategies to help us add. Devin? We can use a number line. With our number jumps. We have a number line with our number jumps. So in the case of 3 plus 8, I might start at 3, jump forward 8, and then I end at my total. I'm a big fan of a number line with number jumps. That is one strategy we have learned. What's another strategy we know, Sean?
Break apart.
We know break apart to get to a friendly number. We used to do those in number talks. We've got break apart to get to a friendly number. We're in our math notebook left. You don't need paper. You're in your math.
No, just so empty.
Shelby, can you think of another strategy? We did do expanded form.
I don't even think I have enough pages.
We have definitely used expanded form. Remember, expanded form is when we stretch that number out so we can see the hundreds, tens, and ones. Will, is rounding going to help us add?
No. It's gonna help. I think that's kind of for. Is this going to help us do anything?
What would rounding help us do? It's not going to help us add, but it does help us with something. What does rounding help us do, Lincoln?
Get us closer to our answer?
Yeah, it just helps us get to that friendly number. It won't necessarily help us add, but it might get us to a friendlier number, so that would make adding easier. Some of you have learned in the past to use base 10 drawings. I know on iReady they use a lot of base 10 pieces where you draw out your hundreds flat, you draw out your 10 rods, you draw out your little 1-bits. I don't recommend that strategy just because it can take a long time now that you're in 3rd grade and we're working with big numbers. But it will still work. It's just going to be a little time consuming. So I think this is just about all the addition strategies that we know. Do you have to use every single one of them all the time?
No.
No. Do you have a favorite?
Yes.
I want you to rank them in your notebook.
Oh.
Put a number 1 next to your favorite, number 2 to your second favorite, and number 4 next to the one that you're like, oh, I do not like this strategy. You maybe could do it, but it's not your favorite strategy to do.
It's kind of like when we have to different.
All right, whose number 1 strategy is number 1? Whose number 1 strategy is break apart to a friendly number? If you're really into mental math, that's probably the one you're going to do. Whose favorite strategy is expanded form? Whose favorite strategy is base 10 drawing? That one takes a long time when you're in 3rd grade. If you were in 2nd grade and we were working with smaller numbers, that one might make more sense. But 3rd grade, we got too big of numbers. Turn the page. Because addition is not the only thing that we have done. New title. What does it mean to subtract? What does it mean to subtract? Write it down and then we'll share, okay?
No,
talked a lot about subtraction this year. What does that mean? What does it mean to subtract? What does that mean, Harper? Okay, so we have a total and you take some away. When you first learned about subtraction, that's definitely what you learned. That you had some items, maybe they were soccer balls, maybe they were clipboards, and then you took some of them away. Sure. That is what subtraction is. This year, we focus on one special word with subtraction. Do you remember what it was? It started with a D.
Addition?
Brayden?
Difference.
Difference. Because when I ask you what's the difference between two numbers, do I want you to say this one's got a 3 and this one's got a 2? No.
Give me the answer.
The difference. The difference is the distance between two numbers, which is what subtraction is. Subtraction is trying to find what is that distance between those two numbers. Please stop making noise. It's not 2 plus numbers. Subtraction is only 2. Subtraction is only 2. So we're finding the distance between two numbers. If I'm doing this on a number line, using the same numbers we use for addition, I might have a 3 and I might have an 11, and I need to figure out what is the distance or the difference between those two numbers. That looks really weird, sorry. Alright, let's move on to our strategies. Go for it, Michael. What is a strategy we know to subtract? We can add to subtract. This is best shown on a number line. I start at one of my parts and I go forward until I get to my end. I'm adding up, counting on, if you will. So in 3, I might count on from 3 until I get to 11. That is add to subtract. Pretty popular strategy, one of my favorites, just because I like to add. Will, do you know another strategy?
Yeah, number line.
A number line counting backwards, right? We use the number line to add to subtract, but we might also count backwards on our number line. Same thing, we're going to do our number jumps, but this time we're going to be moving backwards. Both of those require a number line. If you are really good at a number line, you can probably do both of those strategies pretty well.
No.
What's another strategy we know? We do know another one. Devin? We can break apart to subtract, but it's a little complicated. Shelby? What do you mean by that? Yep, so we could use base 10 drawings again. On your pre-test, way back when you did your pre-test, a lot of you used a base 10 drawing. And you kind of match them and cross them out. That will work. Gwen? You can use expanded form. Expanded form is not my favorite strategy just because we found that sometimes we have to regroup because how the number is written, we might not have enough tens or ones or hundreds to do what we need to easily. Ashlyn? Is rounding going to help us subtract? So rounding, again, is just getting us to a friendly number. It's not going to help me subtract anything. Jackson?
Using the number line to subtract.
Yep, so we put our two number line strategies up here. We have counting backwards and add to subtract. Both of those take place on a number line. Just like we would have did with addition, go ahead and rank these as to what is your favorite, what is your least favorite. Put a number 1 next to the strategy that's your favorite. Put a number 4 next to the one that's your least favorite. Please stop doing that. All right, which one of you put add to subtract as your favorite? That's probably my favorite. Going backwards on a number line. Base 10 drawings. Expanded form. Yep. It all works. It all will work. All right, we got one more thing to review. So our last page, and this has come up a couple of times, but we do need to talk about what does it mean to estimate. So this is your last page. What does it mean to estimate? This is what we've been talking about most recently. Estimating. And it's come up. Some of you thought it might have been an addition or subtraction strategy, but it's not. What does that mean? It says estimate about blah, 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 blah. What is it that it wants you to do? What are you doing? I should see lots of hands because this is what we've been doing most recently. Jackson, what does that mean to estimate?
It means like guess, like see what it's more close to, and then guess.
So you're on the right track, Logan. You want to add on to what Jackson said? Go ahead.
Like you say that if someone has 129 soccer balls, you would round it to the nearest thing, and then say that like I have 150 soccer balls.
So I'm hearing two things. I'm hearing you're saying that we are finding the nearest or closest. You said thing, but I think, Jackson, what you meant was friendly number. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Yeah. Finding the nearest friendly number. And then Jackson also told us he knew about one of our strategies, and one of our strategies is to round. It's not the only strategy that exists, but it's the one that we've been doing when we estimate. When we estimated the first time, the very first time I ever had you make a friendly number, we weren't rounding, we were just picking numbers that were close to that we liked. We have then spent some time actually rounding to find the closest 10 or the closest 100, depending on what our strategy is. Bella, do you have some add? Yeah, that close to number. Now, when we find a close to number, we learned yesterday that we're either too far, we're over our actual number, or we're under our actual number. So when we add and subtract, we play with real numbers, actual numbers. When I'm estimating, I'm not playing with real numbers, I'm using close to numbers. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to estimate? When I could just add the real things together, why would I want to estimate? If you're not sure, I know we answered this question in our notebook. Why would I want to estimate? Sean, why might I want to even use estimation?
And save the time not having to do all the math.
Yeah. It 100% saves time. Oh, yes, sorry. It definitely saves time. Adults use estimation all the time. Are there times when I need to add the exact number? Yes. Yeah. But a lot of the times, I'm going to say, oh, I got about 10 oatmeal packets. I think I'm good for the week. Or, oh, I only have 2. I'm going to need at least 2 more. But I use estimation all the time. All the time. Why else might I want to estimate? Why would I want to do that? Jackson, what do you think?
So you want like
Sure. Yeah, it can get us an easy number. So for instance, this weekend I have to go to UNCW.
Why? Where is that?
In Wilmington.
That's not that far. That's 1 hour away. Sure, that's not that far.
That is an estimate. Brayden just said that's 1 hour away. It's not actually an hour. It's like 53 minutes from my house. But 53 minutes is kind of a mouthful. And I might as well estimate over and say, oh, it's about an hour. Because it's close enough. And that's easier in my brain to think about it and to add, okay, if it's an hour-ish away, then that means I have to get up at this time. That means I have to get ready at this time. That means I have to figure out what I'm doing with my hair at this time.
That means you have to go
With my hair, yeah, believe it or not, this is exactly what it looks like when I wake up. But I would like to look a little nicer for my graduation. So I gotta wear a hat.